Greetings and salutations and dozens, it is Wolfphototech, and here we go with another delightful video. This time, this is actually more of a flashback type of video. This is not the current edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar book. This is the Getting Started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, specifically first edition Warhammer Age of Sigmar. However, I did buy this some time back, not terribly far back, and the reason why I did that is because I really do enjoy looking back and seeing how stuff starts, because it's very informative to me to see how things evolve over time, and I just really like to learn how they were, the art and the nuances of things as they were going. But anyways, you open up to this beautiful double spread between Chaos versus the Dead. Grand Alliance Death versus Grand Alliance Chaos. Specifically, the Slaves to Darkness faction. And you have this beautiful spread right here. I personally don't really care for the way they organize this, because it's kind of shot all over the place. You got like blocks, and then you have a tiny little number right here. And then you have a little text in the corner that says, "Join Sigmar in his battle against the gods of chaos." And then you have the text right over here under the numbers, and it's like, yeah, it's a little messy. Some people have difficulty processing a lot of clutter. And that's not a terribly good thing to cram little fine text in a corner of a box with a lot of art around it. But you do have a nice little table of contents right here. And the artwork is actually quite nice in this book overall. So there you go for that. You got the little section, The Storm Unleashed. It gives you a good feel. As I said, this is the Getting Started book for Warhammer Age of Sigmar First Edition. This is not the current edition. The current edition is third edition. I'm just kind of showing this off for the artwork and talking about how neat it is. You got the Realm Gate Wars, which was the current thing starting off first edition Age of Sigmar. You have a lot of Stormcast Eternals versus Chaos. Because that was the basic startup setup for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, is that, well, Sigmar put together, found his way into a beautiful place with other gods, and all of a sudden, hey, Chaos discovered you, and now you have to fight Chaos again. So there you go. You got a nice little section on collecting miniatures, which is actually quite nice, as well as a nice diagram of the battlefield and various features of the battlefield. The Battle Begins section, which also has some nice artwork for living battlefields, set pieces. And you see a lot of different art styles for different Stormcast Eternals and paint jobs. Several of them by various noteworthy individuals. A little section on the Final Blow. Then you got the starter box for Warhammer Age of Sigmar First Edition, which contains Stormcast Eternals and Khorne's Legion. Then you got the 4 basic groups: Order, Death, Chaos, and Destruction, with their major individuals in those factions. You got the 4, basically the battle tomes for First Edition: the Grand Alliance Order, Grand Alliance Death, Grand Alliance Chaos, and Grand Alliance Destruction. Saying Alliance and Chaos is kind of a crazy thing to say, but hey. The Great Rivals section, and you notice when you're looking at the artwork for the Stormcast Eternals and the designs for the characters, you actually have some really interesting design features in various characters that kind of got eliminated out over time for Stormcast Eternals, and is no longer a common design feature of the characters. So you get various models that are designed in a manner that are no longer being used. Like this guy right here with a skull helmet. They don't really do that anymore. And then you got the basic boxes for Stormcast. Their battle tome. Some more boxes for them. And then you got Slaughter with in Khorne's name section. And their basic information. And the first battle tomes almost for the individual armies. So you have Grand Order tomes, and then you have individual army battle tomes, which is how it was originally set up for Warhammer Age of Sigmar 1st Edition. And they kind of just morphed away from that to straight tomes in the core rulebook. Got the standard models for Age of Sigmar 1st Edition. A lot of these models are still in use, and they're still quite cool in their own way. You got a book, a section on Nurgle, Slann, Fire Slayers. You got a section on painting, which is actually quite nice. Got really good tips on brushes here, and quick undercoating tips. They do a really good job of walking you through the process of painting your miniatures or your models. A good chunk of this book is actually dedicated right to painting your models properly and assembling them. You got a painting guide here, choosing the painting ever-chosen painting guide, and Stormcast Eternals painting guide. Then you have a section on playing the game at the time. The basic rules of Warhammer Age of Sigmar 1st Edition. Goes through all the major rounds, which is actually still pretty consistent in even 3rd Edition, with very minor tweaks here and there. Then you got a General's Handbook. General's Handbooks are the yearly core book that modifies the setting and establishes what is going on in current tournaments at that point. And then you have a refinement section on painting for different common models. And then you have a final advertisement for the Games Workshop website and Facebook page, and a final section with not standard color patterns for paint jobs for the factions. And there you go. And then you have one of the starter boxes, Storm of Sigmar. And as I said, this is actually a pretty neat book. I picked this up just for the fun of it, to see what it was like back when it started, because I kind of started into playing and collecting after this book. So there you go. I'm not going to give it a review number because this is actually obsolete unless you and your friends want to go back and buy the core rule books for 1st edition and play 1st edition Age of Sigmar. But pretty much everyone is on to 3rd edition now. So there you go. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month, and see you next time. Ciao.